Hi everybody, Short of Sean here, and you join me today on a walk along an ancient footpath that was used over the centuries by the great and the not so great, by princes and kings. And why do I say that? Well, walk with me and I'll explain all. Today we're walking through an ancient woodland of oak and ash, horse chestnut and Scots pine. We're in the hills above Aberystwyth. I'm following an ancient footpath that leads directly down to Llanbadarn Fawr and the church. Why is this significant? Well, let's have a short history lesson of Llanbadarn Fawr and its church. The church was founded as a Celtic class church in the early 6th century by St. Padden, who was a student of St. Istid. He arrived here with about 100 monks to set up his monastery. It became one of the leading classi of Wales, and we know this because of its significant role it played as a literary centre. In the 11th century, it became dominated by the Cillian family. He became Cillian the Wise, who went on to become Bishop of St. David's twice. It became the learning centre of Wales. Its scriptorium was larger than both Canterbury Cathedral and York Minster. Cillian's son, Rhydgwr, wrote the life of St. David, and that's the reason why we know so much about St. David, our patron saint. Across the valley on Castle Hill are the remains of 5 early Welsh castles, including a Motte Bailey castle. What we must remember, of course, is at the time there was no town of Aberystwyth. Llanbadarn Fawr was the only settlement. And along came Edward I and built his castle, not on Castle Hill, but around a rocky area just by the side of the Rheidol River. To rub the noses of the Welsh in it, he called his castle Aberystwyth, and the town he built around it he called Llanbadarn Geiriog. You must remember, of course, that after the Romans left, no one built roads for about 1300 years, so everybody, including princes and kings, travelled along tracks and footpaths like this one. There's no such thing as the A44 and the A467 to travel around on. This footpath leads straight down to the most important building in the area, Llanbadarn Church, which was a cathedral in the 1100s. So anyone travelling to the area of Aberystwyth or Llanbadarn would have, or could have, travelled along this footpath. There are other footpaths, of course, but there's no one around to dispute the fact that the Prince of Wales or the King of England may well have travelled this way to arrive at his castle. Edward I, of course, certainly knew about Llanbadarn because he called the town that he built around his castle Llanbadarn Geiriog. So he may well have travelled this way to get to that church. The Prince of Wales and Edward I travelled along this road or footpath. There's a good chance they did. And you know what? There's nobody who can dispute the fact anyway. So my name is Sean Westlick from Mid Wales Tours, and if you fancy going for a walk with me again along the ancient highways and byways of Mid Wales, tune in for the next episode. For now, I'll see you later.